These new details could change everything for the Edmonton Oilers ahead of tonight's pivotal Game 4 matchup against the Los Angeles Kings at Rogers Place. All that more today on Oilers Digest as we get you set up for that one. A huge, huge game for the Oilers because if you lose, you're going back to LA down 3-1 to the best home team in the NHL. So hopefully the Oilers can get it done tonight. And hopefully, if you're new here, you can subscribe to the channel. 75% of you have not yet subscribed to the channel. So for any and all Oiler news, make sure you stay locked here to Oilers Digest as it's going to get even more juicy following tonight's contest against the LA Kings. And well, without further ado, let's get right into it. Don't overthink it, Knob, is the whole mindset of this one when it comes to the Oilers lineup. You don't have to do anything drastic. You don't have to do anything wild. You just have to let the team gel together and be cohesive. But there seems to be a little bit of a goalie controversy is the Oilers and Kings tonight, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain on Hockey Night in Canada. There with a goalie controversy, you're saying, well, Pickard, didn't have the worst game. Everybody managed to get the job done for the Oilers in Game 3, but from the Two Mutts Hockey podcast yesterday morning, said word out of Edmonton this morning/afternoon is that there's a strong possibility that Stuart Skinner could be back in the net for the Oilers tomorrow night versus the LA Kings. Again, this was from yesterday, and another huge game. The Oilers know Stuart Skinner gives them the best chance of winning the Stanley Cup, and that's quite the statement. I mean, last year, yeah, but this year, not so much, and he's proven to bounce back once he has a reset, although the organization was not blaming Stuart Skinner for any of the losses in LA. It was just a reset to clear his mind and have Skinner ready once again for a long playoff run following on here. It sounds like this was a conversation in LA after Game 2, and they would be calling on Skinner again in this series, much like the Vancouver series. Calvin Pickard would get Game 3, and after a day to go over Game 3, the Oilers would have a conversation about a Game 4 starter in the plan to have Skinner start again in this series after some work with the goalie coach in video session to go over a few things he can fix in his game. Well, if he's with the goalie coach Dustin Schwartz, there's not much to fix there because Dustin Schwartz is not a very good goalie coach. You can see there time and time again with the Oiler goalies over the past few years, past 10 years, hasn't exactly been the most supportive goalie coach because they get to Edmonton and their stats just crumble there, and it'd take a lot more than a work with a goalie coach and video session to get Stuart Skinner back in this one, and that is why Calvin Pickard will in fact get the start tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Kris Knoblauch was asked about why he went with Pickard in Game 4. It kind of seemed obvious to me, but Knoblauch sort of had to explain himself. He said, I think with Calvin, you look at his win-loss record, it's mostly a team stat, but I mean, Calvin Pickard did get the Oilers, to the finish line in most of those games, especially after January 1st. He finds a way to win hockey games. I don't know if that was a shot at Stuart Skinner or not. They're a little bit of a subtle competition, whether we play better and feel better in front of him, or he just comes up with big saves in key times. You look at that win-loss record, and it is pretty flattering for him. So I just, decided to, do the numbers there. And since January 1st, 2025, Calvin Pickard is 14-6-1 in 23 games with a goals against average of 2.84 and a save percentage of 901. So, pretty league average. I mean, if you're 900, that's good enough for me, and some pretty big wins in, the new year, I should say, after January 1st. The big wins against, the Vegas Golden Knights and multiple other ones. And there's an even big win against the Minnesota Wild. But with Calvin Pickard, sure, they played him against weaker teams, but he managed to get the job done in most of those. And, well, if you're thinking, well, what's Stuart Skinner's record in that same time frame there? Well, he's 12-10-1 in 26 games with goals against average of 2.82 and a save percentage of 895. So, a slightly better goals against average. I mean, we're splitting hairs there. And a worse save percentage. So, again, don't know if that was sort of like a shot being taken here by Kris Knoblauch when, Calvin Pickard makes key saves in big times of the game. We all saw it against the LA Kings in the third period. Sure, he gave up that awful fourth goal there, but he locked it down. 8 shots by the LA Kings in that third period, all 8 turned aside as he pulled it, an inner Grant Fuhr there. He was letting 4 in, but was not letting that 5th one in by him, sort of that clutch factor in the third period there by Calvin Pickard, the journeyman goaltender for the Oilers. And just taking a look at the lines in deep pairings and starting goaltender there, you can see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid in, Zach Hyman, so McDavid in, Draisaitl split. They are not starting the game together with Puck Holes and Arvidsson on Draisaitl's wings. Kane, Henrique, and Brown had a pretty solid game on Friday night. Hopefully they continue the same with that. And then Trent Frederick still dealing with that ankle injury, but he seems to be getting better by the game there, with Mattias Janmark in Corey Perry, with the extra skaters being Jeff Skinner, Kasper Captain, Max Jones in, Derek Ryan, and on the back end there, Darnell Nurse in, Evan Bouchard, Jake Wallman and John Klingberg, and Brett Kulak in, Ty Emerson, Troy Stetcher. Skating, he was an option for Game 4 tonight, but it looks like he will be out of the lineup once again, with Josh Brown being the other extra defenseman. Cal Pickard getting the start in net tonight for the Oilers. And Leon Draisaitl, looks like he's the coach now. Draisaitl pulling Evan Bouchard over to the whiteboard to go over a few things. Did the same with Corey Perry a few minutes ago. This was from the morning skate here from TSN's Ryan Rishaug there. So Leon Draisaitl, I don't know, modern day Picasso here, trying to draw something up, as we all saw on that Evan Bouchard power play goal in the third period to give the Oilers the 5-4 lead there. So Draisaitl always thinking of new stuff. I mean, creativity is one of his strong suits there. He looks like he's given both 100% and 0% at the same time. That's just the kind of guy he is. He can take over a game without you even knowing it. That's just how good Leon Draisaitl is. And for the other guys, Frederick, Kane, and Klingberg, Knoblauch, as you saw the steps that they've taken these last couple games, are only going to continue to get better. I certainly hope so. That's what I anticipate. We got other guys who are just coming back too that have been missed. So not only them individually, but also collectively on who they're playing with and getting some cohesion. Hopefully we continue on the rise. And John Klingberg, the gritty veteran there for the Edmonton Oilers, says I think the big thing in the playoffs is you got to stay even-keeled and take it one day at a time. You have a great win like yesterday and today. It's just a matter of getting prepared for tomorrow. So I think we're a veteran team, and obviously going to the finals last year, I think that helps a lot with just knowing what you have to do. But every game is going to be different, and the outcome is going to be different as well. And Klingberg, in the two games for the Oilers so far, I mean, he's been pretty solid. Since his debut with the Oilers, he was shaky at the start. It looked promising, and then dealt with that injury, put on LTIR. But the rest of the Oilers defensemen, sure, outscored plenty on the ice there, but individually, analytically, they haven't been sinking in that pool against the LA Kings. They've been holding their own. It's just been a product of pretty shaky goaltending there. We've all seen Evan Bouchard fall victim to that, and Darnell Nurse. I mean, I had my fair criticism of that, but it's not like they're the worst six defensemen in the playoffs so far. They've been holding their own. Again, it's just been the goaltending there, with John Klingberg having a 55% Corsi 4 percentage, 54% Fenwick 4, and you know what, he's given up a goal, but he's also been on the ice for a goal there, and that's something that you love to see. The analytics, when you're north of 50%, that is what you like to see, especially from a veteran defenseman with John Klingberg. And from Bob Stauffer here, he said, FYI, the Condors that are in Edmonton as Black Aces that skated yesterday at the downtown community arena at Rogers Place, Matt Savoy, Noah Phillip, James Hamblin, Cam Deneen, Philip Kemp, and Olivier Rodrigue. So, you know what? I'd like to see Savoy and Phillip into the lineup, but Knoblauch, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If things have to get to that drastic measure of inserting a one or both of those forwards, I say go for it, as No Phillip would inject some youth into the bottom six, and I loved what he brought to the Oiler table this year. Now, just taking a look at the dreaded LA Kings there, had an optional skate today, so we'll know more about their lineup closer to the game, but it should look something like this. They haven't switched up too much. They did go 11-7 in game 2, but that was the only time they did go 11-7. They went 12-6 the other two, with Andrei Kuzmenko, Andrei Kopitar, Adrian Kempe, Kevin Fiala, Quentin Byfield, and Alex Ferrier. They gotta find a way to stop Adrian Kempe, everybody. I mean, oh boy, if they neutralize him, there's a pretty good chance the Oilers can climb back their way into the series, and even tie the series or get the series lead all at once, with Warren Fogle, Philip Deneau, and Trevor Moore, Jeff Malott, Sammy Hellenius, and Trevor Lewis on the back end there, Mikey Anderson, and the inevitable Drew Doughty, Vladislav Gavrikov, and Jordan Spence, and Joel Edmondson, and Brant Clark there, with Darcy Kuemper, the Oilers, making him look human in 3 games of goals against average of 4.04 and a save percentage of 860. And you can see there, all 3 goalies in the series, 30 combined goals given up in the 3 games, and Cal Pickard, Stuart Skinner, and Darcy Kuemper, they're all in, the bottom tier of playoff goalies this year. I mean, can we talk about Connor Hellebuyck for a second? My goodness, awful last 2 games by Connor Hellebuyck. Playoff Hellebuyck always seems to show his ugly head every spring, but that's neither here or there. I just wanted to point that out. I'm in Jets country, so it's always fun when I point out the downfalls of the Winnipeg Jets. But the Oilers also on the downfall here when it comes to their not, I don't want to say middling penalty kill. It's the bottom. It is the bottom of the barrel. 41.7% on the PK. So if they need to find a way to get back into this series, they need to penalties in the playoffs, you're not going to play a clean, perfect game. But when you do take those penalties, you need to tighten up on the PK. Not get too pretty. Just play your game, and the rest will follow. The LA Kings, 27th ranked power play during the regular season. I know it's different during the playoffs, but you need to find a way to dig in. Your most important penalty killer is the goalie there. It just needs a full team effort to get the job done tonight. In the playoff odds, up 3-1 if the Oilers do drop this one and they go back to LA. It is not looking pretty. Is the team up 3-1 with an almost 91% series overall record there. Over the last 347 previous times the team has been up in a playoff series, they've gone on to win the series 315 times. So history would not be on the Oilers' side if they do go down 3-1. But they've come back from 3-1 before during the Stanley Cup playoffs. 1990 against the Winnipeg Jets, down 3-1, came back to win the cup. So you know what, it has happened. But against the LA Kings, they're strong at home. So the Oilers need to find a way to take this one tonight and make it a brand new series. Make it a best of 3. And that is really what it is all about there. I mean, we need hockey heaven to show out tonight, according to Trent Frederick. And that's, a compliment because, played in Boston. The Boston playoff crowds are, pretty much on the same level as Edmonton. So for Trent Frederick, with his first game at Rogers Place, we need that crowd to, show up for Edmonton. If you're going to the game, be as loud as you can, and if you're not, we'll still enjoy the game tonight, folks. We will be back with a recap tomorrow afternoon. Should be a good one tonight. Oilers, Kings, these two teams, familiarity breeds contempt, and we are seeing that so far. Take care. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody. Enjoy the hockey before the Oiler game tonight. We still got the Habs and Caps game. We still got the Devils, Canes. So lots to feast upon on this Sunday. I'm Matt. Take care.